She almost stepped over him, until she realized he might not survive the night. Walking away would have been easier.
Cheaper.
Safer. Before I tell you what she chose to do, let me ask you something. Have you ever been standing at a crossroads where helping someone meant risking the little you had left? A moment where doing nothing felt logical but wrong? This story begins with a single decision. $20. One stranger. And a choice that quietly rewrote two lives forever. So if you believe that small acts of kindness can carry heavy consequences, if you're drawn to stories where power is quiet, loyalty is earned, and love grows from respect rather than force, take a moment to like this video. Share it with someone who appreciates deep, emotional storytelling. And subscribe to this channel because these are the kinds of stories we tell here, stories that stay with you long after they end. Now, let me take you back to the night everything changed. The convenience store fluorescents buzzed like dying insects. 2:47 a.m. Amara counted the coins twice because her vision blurred when she was this tired. $17 and change scattered across the counter in silver and copper shame. The clerk didn't look up from his phone. She put back the milk.
Kept the rice. Kept the eggs.
Put back the bread. 14:63. Her daughter Zoe had school in 5 hours. Amara had work in 4. The math of survival didn't allow for sleep anymore, only the narrow space between collapsing and continuing. Outside, Seoul's 81 district leaked neon into puddles that hadn't dried from yesterday's rain. She gripped the plastic bag and walked the 7 blocks to their efficiency apartment, passing shuttered shops and the kind of bars where men forgot themselves. She'd been in Korea for 3 years, teaching English to children whose parents could afford her, living in a room barely large enough for 2 mattresses on the floor, sending money home to her mother in Atlanta when she could, which wasn't often, which created its own guilt. The man was folded against the brick wall of a closed restaurant, half sitting, half collapsed. Amara walked past him, then stopped. Not because she was kind. Because Zoe had asked her last week why people slept outside, and Amara had said sometimes people have bad nights, baby, and the good thing to do is remember they're still people. The man's suit was expensive. Even drunk or high or whatever he was, that was obvious. Dark wool. Tailored. Ruined now by whatever he'd been doing in the alley. Hey. Her voice came out sharper than she meant. Exhaustion made her edges visible. You okay? He didn't move. She crouched down, keeping distance. His face was turned away, black hair falling across his eyes. Korean. Maybe 30. Blood on his knuckles. I'm calling someone, she said, reaching for her phone. His hand shot out and caught her wrist. Not violently, but absolutely. She froze. His eyes opened, dark and depthless and ruined by something that wasn't alcohol. When he spoke, his voice scraped out in broken English. No hospital. No police. You're hurt. No. She should have left. Every self-preservation instinct she'd honed as a black woman in foreign spaces screamed at her to walk away from a drunk man in an alley at 3 a.m. But his grip loosened. Became almost apologetic.
Please, he said.
That word cost him something. She heard it. Amara looked at the convenience store 2 blocks back. Then at her grocery bag. Then at this stranger who said please like he'd forgotten how. Can you stand? He tried.
Failed.
His expensive suit jacket twisted around his frame as he struggled against the brick. She shouldn't touch him. Shouldn't help him. Shouldn't do anything except keep walking. She set down her groceries and gripped his arm. He was heavier than he looked. Solid. She got him upright through sheer stubborn force, her shoulder bracing his weight. Where? She asked. He gestured vaguely down the street. They moved like that. Slow. Him leaning on her, her feet aching in shoes that needed replacing 2 months ago. He smelled like expensive cologne and copper and something burning. At the corner he stopped, pulled away slightly, and looked at her with those ruined eyes. Why? Why what? Why help? She didn't have a good answer. Because you asked. Something crossed his face. Confusion, maybe. Or recognition of something he'd lost. They made it another block before he spoke again. You live here? Nearby. Alone. Red flags. Every one. But his voice held no threat. Only facts being gathered by someone whose mind still worked despite his body's failure. I have a daughter, she said, and hated that she'd offered that information. She's 6. He nodded. Stored that away somewhere. They reached a black car parked illegally across 2 spaces.
Sleek.
European. Worth more than she'd make in 5 years.
Keys, he said.
She helped him search his pockets until he found them.
Press the fob.
The car chirped awake. She got him into the back seat, where he collapsed across the leather like a puppet with cut strings. Amara stood there in the street, breathing hard. You need a hospital, she said.
No.
Then you need to call someone. No one to call. That felt like a lie, but not one she could challenge. She thought of her groceries, probably stolen by now. Thought of Zoe, asleep on the mattress. Thought of the last $23 in her wallet and the fact that this man clearly had money and she clearly didn't. Wait here, she said. His eyes tracked her as she walked back toward the convenience store. Her groceries were still there, somehow. Small miracle. She grabbed them and kept walking to the 24-hour kimbap place that sold soup cheap. $20 bought her 3 containers of mayakuk. Seaweed soup. The kind Korean mothers made for healing. She had $3 left. When she got back to the car, he hadn't moved. She opened the door and set 1 container on the seat beside him.
Eat this.
Drink water. Sleep it off. He stared at the soup like he'd never seen food before. Who are you? He asked. Nobody. Name. She shouldn't tell him. Every instinct said don't. Amara. He repeated it.
Slowly.
Like he was carving it somewhere permanent. Jae-sung, he said. She nodded. Started to close the door. Amara.
She stopped.
Thank you. She looked at him, this broken, expensive stranger in his ruined suit, and felt something shift. Not attraction. Not pity. Something closer to recognition. Don't die in this car, she said. Someone will have to clean it. The corner of his mouth moved. Almost a smile. She closed the door and walked home. Zoe was still asleep when Amara got back. Small mercy. She put away the groceries, heated up one of the soups for herself, and sat on the floor eating it while the sun started turning the sky gray. Her phone had 12% battery. No charger at home. She'd left it at work. $3 in her account until Friday. Rice and eggs would last them 4 days if she was careful. She finished the soup and lay down on the mattress beside her daughter, smelling Zoe's shampoo and feeling her tiny shoulders rise and fall with sleep. Worth it, she told herself. Even if it was stupid. Even if that money could have bought bread. Worth it. She forgot about Jae-sung by the time her alarm went off 3 hours later. Forgot him through getting Zoe ready for school, through the subway ride to her first lesson, through teaching basic English to a classroom of 8-year-olds whose parents paid her in cash under the table. Forgot him until she got home that night and found an envelope wedged in her apartment door. No name. Just an envelope. Thick. Inside was money. She counted it twice. 5 million won. Roughly 4,000 US dollars. And a business card. Heavy stock. Embossed. No company name. Just a phone number and a single word in English. Safe. Amara's hands shook. She looked down the hallway. Empty. Looked at the money again. This was wrong. This was dangerous. This was the kind of help that came with chains. She should tear up the card. Return the money somehow. She thought about Zoe's shoes. Thought about the landlord who'd started looking at her differently. Thought about the academy that kept cutting her hours. She put the money in the envelope and shoved it under her mattress.
Kept the card.
Didn't call. Not that night. 2 weeks passed. Amara spent the money carefully. Paid rent. Bought real groceries. Got Zoe new shoes and a winter coat that actually fit. She told herself it was a gift. A thank you. Nothing more. Told herself she'd never see Jae-sung again. Then the man in the suit showed up at Zoe's school. Amara was waiting outside the gates with the other mothers. She stood apart from them, always. The few times she tried to make conversation, she'd been met with polite coldness. She'd learned to bring a book. The man approached her directly. Miss Amara Williams? American accent. Expensive suit. Sunglasses despite the overcast sky. Every alarm in her body screamed. Who's asking? A friend would like to speak with you. I don't have friends who send people in suits. Nevertheless. He gestured to a black car idling across the street. Same car. Same model, at least. I'm picking up my daughter. We'll wait. The school bell rang. Children poured out in their uniforms, laughing and shoving. Zoe spotted her and ran over, backpack bouncing. Mama. Amara caught her up, held her close, and stared at the man in the suit. We'll give you a ride home, he said. Both of you. It wasn't a request. The car was silent except for Zoe's chatter about her day. The man in the suit drove. Amara held her daughter tight and watched the streets pass. They didn't go to her apartment. They went to Gangnam. High rises. Luxury. A different soul than the one she inhabited. The car pulled into an underground garage beneath a building made entirely of black glass. This isn't my home, Amara said quietly. Mr. Choi would like to thank you properly. I don't need thanks. The man said nothing. Just opened the door. Zoe looked up at her with wide eyes. Mama? Where are we? I don't know, baby. But she got out of the car. Because men who sent cars and drivers weren't men you said no to, without consequences. The elevator rose silently to the 40th floor. The doors opened directly into a penthouse apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Han River. Furniture that looked like art. Space that felt like violence to someone who lived in 200 square feet. Jae-sung stood by the windows. He'd changed. No longer broken and bleeding. Now he wore a simple black shirt and slacks, hair styled back, posture perfect. He turned when they entered. His eyes found hers. Held. Amara. Her name in his mouth sounded different than it had in the alley. Sober. Deliberate. Who are you? She asked. Someone who owes you. You already paid me.
No.
He stepped forward. Stopped when he saw how she tensed. That was interest. Not payment. Zoe pressed against her leg, suddenly shy. Jae-sung's gaze dropped to her daughter. Something flickered in his expression. How old? 6, Amara said, hating how defensive she sounded. He nodded, then crouched down, slowly, until he was eye level with Zoe. Hello. Zoe buried her face in Amara's coat. She's shy, Amara said. Smart. Jae-sung stood. You taught her to fear strangers. I taught her to be careful. Good. Silence stretched between them. Finally, Amara spoke. Why are we here? Because you spent your last money on soup for a stranger. Because you asked for nothing. Because he stopped. Started again. Because I need to know why. I told you. You asked. People don't help in this city. They walk past. They protect themselves. Maybe I'm not from this city. His mouth curved slightly. Atlanta. Georgia. You came here 3 years ago on a teaching visa. You work for 4 different hagwons. All cash, none legal. You send money to your mother when you can. You have $17 in your bank account. Ice flooded her veins. How? I needed to know who to protect. I don't need protection. Yes, he said quietly. You do. Amara grabbed Zoe's hand. We're leaving. Wait.
No.
I don't know what this is, but I want no part of it. Amara. Don't. She backed toward the elevator. Don't say my name like we're friends. Don't send cars. Don't, her voice cracked. Don't watch my daughter's school. Jae-sung went very still. When he spoke, his voice was different.
Softer.
Almost careful. I won't hurt you. You're scaring me. That's the same thing. He looked away. Toward the windows. The city sprawling below. You're right, he said. I'm sorry. She'd reached the elevator. Pressed the button. The money was real, he said. No strings.
You helped me.
I help you. That's the end. Then why am I here? The elevator dinged. Doors opened. Jae-sung turned back to her. In the light from the windows, she could see something in his eyes. Something raw. Because no one's helped me in 10 years. And I needed to see if you were real. The doors started to close. Amara's hand shot out.
Stopped them.
What do you mean, real? Kind, he said. Without calculation. Everyone calculates. Yes. He smiled, and it was the saddest thing she'd seen. That's why I had to check. Zoe tugged her hand. Mama, I'm hungry. Amara looked at her daughter. Then at this man in his tower. Then at the space between them that felt like a choice she didn't want to make. Don't come to her school again, she said. I won't. Don't send people to watch us. They're not watching. They're guarding. I didn't ask for guards. I know. Jae-sung stepped closer to the elevator, but didn't enter. But you have them anyway. Because what you did, he stopped. Because mercy is the rarest thing in this world. And I protect rare things. The elevator chimed. Warning. Goodbye, Jae-sung. Not goodbye, he said. But I'll stay away. Unless you call. She looked at the card she'd kept in her wallet. The one that said safe. I won't call. You might need to. The doors closed on his face. Amara's hands shook all the way down. That night, she burned the business card. Watched it curl and blacken in her tiny kitchen sink. Zoe was already asleep. Amara sat on the floor and cried. Not because she was scared. Because she was tired. Bone-deep exhausted from being alone in a country that would never fully accept her, raising a daughter who deserved better, surviving on edges and scraps. And because somewhere in that tower, a man who knew her bank account balance had called her kind, had called her rare, had looked at her like she was something worth protecting. She didn't want to be rare. She wanted to be safe. But maybe in his world, those were the same thing. 3 months passed like water. No more cars. No more men in suits. No more money. Amara convinced herself it was over. Convinced herself, right up until the night 2 men followed her home from the subway. She noticed them at Itaewon Station.
Young. Drunk.
Speaking Korean too fast for her to catch, but their eyes said enough. She walked faster. They matched her pace. The streets weren't empty, but they were empty enough. Seoul's safety was real, but not absolute. Especially not for women. Especially not at night. Especially not for women who looked like her. She turned down a side street.
Mistake.
Realized it immediately. The men turned too. One called out. She didn't understand the words, but understood the tone. Her apartment was 2 blocks away. She ran. They ran faster. Footsteps behind her. Laughter. Hands grabbing her bag. She spun, yanked it back, and the strap broke. Her phone skittered across the pavement. One of the men grabbed her arm. She screamed. And then a third man was there. Not there. Just suddenly present. He moved like water. Like violence choreographed into art. The man holding her arm released her. Stumbled back. His friend said something sharp in Korean. The third man didn't speak. Just stepped between Amara and them. She saw his face in the streetlight. Not Jae-sung. Someone else. Older. Scarred. Wearing the same kind of suit. The 2 drunk men looked at him. Looked at each other.
Ran.
Silence filled the street. The man turned to Amara.
Bowed slightly.
Ma'am. American accent. Military, maybe. He picked up her broken bag and her phone. Are you hurt?
She shook her head. Couldn't speak yet.
I'll take you home. No. It's not a request. A black car pulled up. Same model. Always the same model. She got in because her legs wouldn't hold her anymore. They drove in silence. When they reached her building, the man got out and opened her door. He said you'd refuse help, the man said. He was right. He also said to respect that. But to stay close. How close? Close enough. Amara looked up at her building. At the dark window where Zoe slept. He's been watching. He's been protecting. What's the difference? The man smiled slightly. Watching is about control. Protection is about debt. I don't want his debt. Too late. The man handed her the broken bag. It was already paid. That night. With soup. He got back in the car. Amara stood on the sidewalk and watched it disappear. Then she went inside and locked every lock on her door. The phone rang at 2 a.m. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. Hello. It's me. Jae-sung's voice. Quiet. almost hesitant. How did you get this number? I've always had it. She should hang up. Should scream. Should do something. They could have hurt me, she said instead. I know. Your man was too far away. If they'd. I know. His voice tightened. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't, she stopped. Started over. What am I to you? Silence. Then, I don't know yet. Honesty. Raw and uncomfortable. I can't be in your world, she said. You're not. You're in mine. What does that mean? It means I keep you separate. I keep you safe. I keep you, he exhaled. I keep you clean. From what? From everything I am. Amara sat on her mattress in the dark. Zoe breathed softly beside her. What are you? She asked. Someone who didn't deserve your kindness. That's not an answer. It's the only one I can give. She closed her eyes. I want this to stop. It won't. Why? Because I owe you everything.
There.
That word. The one that lived in the title of her story, but hadn't been earned yet. You don't owe me everything, she said. You owe me $20 and some peace of mind.
No.
His voice went soft. Almost reverent. You gave me something I'd forgotten existed. And in my world, that debt doesn't expire. It grows. I don't want it to grow. Neither do I. He paused. But it will anyway. The line went quiet, but he didn't hang up. Neither did she. Are you dangerous? She finally asked. Yes. Will you hurt me? Never. Will someone else hurt me because of you? Longer pause. I'll die before that happens. Something in his voice made her believe him. I have a daughter, she said. I know. If anything happens to her, it won't. You can't promise that. I can. Steel entered his tone. And I do. Amara looked at Zoe's sleeping face. Stay away from us, she whispered. I can't. Try. I am trying. This is me trying. The absurdity of it hit her. A mafia boss, because that's what he was. She understood that now, calling her at 2 a.m. to apologize for protecting her too slowly. I'm hanging up now, she said. Okay. Don't call again. Okay. But neither of them moved. Jae-sung. Yes. That night. In the alley. What happened to you?
Static.
Breathing. Then so quiet she almost missed it. I just buried my brother. The line went dead. Amara sat in the dark and cried for the second time, because of him. Not from fear. From understanding. Morning came with Zoe's questions. Mama, why was your bag broken? Amara spread jam on rice crackers because they were out of bread again. It just tore, baby. Can we get a new one? Maybe next month. Zoe accepted this the way children accept all small disappointments, quickly, completely, already moving to the next thought. Can I have the pink pencil case at the store? We'll see. Which meant no. Zoe knew it meant no. But she nodded anyway and ate her crackers and put on her too small jacket without complaining. Worth it, Amara thought. Every struggle, every night shift, every moment of exhaustion. Worth it to raise a child who said thank you and please and didn't expect the world to give her anything. They walked to school together. Amara scanned every face, every car, every shadow. No men in suits. No black cars. Just Seoul's morning rush. Anonymous and indifferent. At the school gates, Zoe hugged her waist. Love you, Mama. Love you more, baby. Amara watched her daughter disappear into the crowd of children and felt the familiar ache of not being enough. Not providing enough. Not protecting enough. Not being the mother Zoe deserved. She turned to leave
And saw him.
across the street, leaning against a wall. Not hiding. Jae-sung. In daylight, he looked different. Sharper. The broken man from the alley completely erased. Now he wore dark jeans and a black coat, hands in pockets, expression unreadable behind sunglasses. Their eyes met. He didn't move. Neither did she. Other parents flowed around her, chattering in Korean, oblivious. The morning had that quality of practiced chaos. Everyone going through motions, no one really seeing. Amara crossed the street. She didn't decide to. Her body just moved. When she reached him, she stopped 3 feet away. Safe distance. Public space. You said you'd stay away from her school. I am away. I'm across the street. That's not what I meant. I know. He lowered the sunglasses. His eyes were bloodshot. I couldn't sleep. That's not my problem. I know that too. A bus passed between them, briefly severing the connection. When it cleared, neither had moved. What do you want? Amara asked.
Coffee.
Excuse me? Have coffee with me. He pushed off the wall. 1 hour. Daylight. Public place. Then I'll leave you alone. You said that before. I lied. He almost smiled. I'm trying honesty now. Why? Because you asked me to try. The memory of his voice on the phone, "This is me trying," made her chest tighten. 1 hour, she said. Thank you. And then you disappear.
No.
He started walking, expected her to follow. But I'll try harder to be invisible. The cafe was small, traditional, the kind where old men read newspapers and young couples whispered over pastries. Jae-sung ordered in Korean. The server's eyes widened slightly when she saw him, but she bowed and retreated quickly. What did you tell her? Amara asked. Nothing. She recognized you. People often do. Why? He waited until the coffee arrived. Americano for him, latte for her. He'd ordered without asking what she wanted. Somehow got it right anyway. My family name carries weight, he said. Choi. Yes. What kind of weight? He wrapped both hands around his cup. The kind that makes servers nervous and mothers pull their children closer. Should I pull my daughter closer? You already do. Instinctively. His eyes found hers. You're a good mother. You don't know that. I do. I've watched, he stopped. Corrected. I've seen enough. Amara added sugar to her latte. Stirred slowly. Buying time. Your brother, she said finally. His jaw tightened. You said you'd buried him. That night. I did. I'm sorry. Don't be. Jae-sung's voice went flat. He deserved better than me mourning him drunk in an alley. Everyone deserves to be mourned. Not everyone earns it. The bitterness in his tone made her pause. She sipped her coffee. Waited. He didn't elaborate. How did he die? She asked. Does it matter? You brought it up. I shouldn't have. But you did. So now I'm asking. Jae-sung leaned back, studied her face like she was a puzzle he couldn't solve. Why do you care? I don't know, she admitted. Maybe because you keep showing up. Maybe because you called Mercy rare. Maybe because she stopped. Because you looked broken that night. And I've been broken too. Something shifted in his expression. Softened. He was killed, Jae-sung said quietly. By people who wanted to hurt me. And it worked. I'm sorry. You said that already. I mean it more now. He smiled. Actually smiled. Small and brief, but real. You're very strange, Amara Williams. You're one to talk. Fair. They drank in silence. Around them, the cafe hummed with other people's conversations. Normal lives. Normal problems. Amara envied them. What do you do? She asked. For work. Import-export. That's a lie. Yes. Are you going to tell me the truth? No. Why not? Because the truth is ugly. And you're not. Heat crept up her neck. She hid it behind her cup. I'm not fragile, she said. I know. He paused. Chose his words carefully. Resilient. Strong. But strength shouldn't require exposure to poison. You think you're poison? I know I am. Amara set down her cup, met his eyes directly. Then why are you here? Because I'm selfish. No hesitation. Because that night, when you helped me, I felt human for the first time in years. And I want to feel it again. That's not fair to me. Nothing about this is fair to you. Then stop. I can't. His voice dropped. I've tried. For 3 months, I tried. But I keep seeing you count coins in a convenience store. Keep hearing you tell your daughter that maybe next month. Keep watching you. He cut himself off. I keep remembering that you had $17 and you spent 20 on someone you'd never met. It was soup, not salvation. It was mercy. In a world that taught me mercy doesn't exist. Amara's throat tightened. I can't be your proof that the world is good, she said. I'm just trying to survive. I know. Then let me do it in peace. I will. I am. He leaned forward. But let me help you survive better. I don't want your money. It's not about money. Then what? Safety. Security. The knowledge that your daughter has food and you don't have to choose between rent and rice. There's always a price. Not from me. Everyone wants something. Yes. He held her gaze. I want you to keep being who you are. I want you to not become hard and sharp and empty. I want, his voice roughened. I want to protect the thing in you that still helps strangers. Silence stretched between them. That's even more selfish, Amara whispered. I know. You want to own my kindness.
No.
I want to make sure the world doesn't destroy it. She stood abruptly, chair scraping. I need to go.
He didn't stand. Didn't follow.
Just looked up at her with those dark, tired eyes. Okay. Don't follow me. I won't. Don't send your people. They're already there. But you won't see them. Jae-sung. Be angry at me, he said quietly. Hate me if you need to. But let me do this one thing. Let me keep you safe.
Why?
Because I couldn't keep him safe. Raw pain cracked through his voice. And I need to protect something. Amara stood there, caught between fleeing and staying.
1 hour, she said.
You promised. The hour's not up. It is for me. She walked out.
He didn't follow.
But when she glanced back through the window, he was still sitting there, both hands wrapped around his cup, staring at nothing, looking broken all over again. That night, Zoe brought home a pink pencil case. Amara found it in her backpack during homework time. Baby, where did you get this? Zoe looked up from her reading book, eyes wide. Teacher gave it. Your teacher?
No.
The nice teacher. By the gate. Ice flooded Amara's veins. What nice teacher? The man. He smiled and gave me the pencil case. Said it was a present. Amara's hands shook. What did he look like? Nice suit.
Tall.
He spoke English good. The room tilted. Amara grabbed her phone. Dialed the number she'd memorized despite burning the card. He answered on the first ring. Amara. You gave my daughter a gift. Silence. Tell me I'm wrong, she said, voice shaking. Tell me one of your people didn't approach my child. It was just a pencil case. You approached my child. Zoe looked up, startled. Amara lowered her voice, turned away. I told you, she hissed. I told you to stay away from her. He didn't hurt her. That's not the point. Then what is? You crossed a line. There are no lines anymore, Amara. Not for me. Not for you. Watch me draw them. You can't. I won't let you live in danger because you're too proud to accept help. It's not pride. Then what? It's fear. The words ripped out of her. I'm afraid of you. I'm afraid of what you are. I'm afraid of what happens when people like me get involved with people like you. Breathing on the other end.
Heavy.
Then, quietly. What do you think I am? Dangerous. Yes. Criminal. Yes. Someone who ruins lives. Longer pause. Yes. Amara closed her eyes. Then stay away from my daughter. I can't protect her if I stay away. I don't want your protection. I want you gone. Those are the same thing.
No.
They're not. Silence stretched. Zoe had gone back to her book, used to her mother's strange phone calls by now. I'll pull everyone back, Jae-sung said finally. No more watchers. No more guards. No more gifts. Relief flooded her. Thank you. But when something happens, nothing will happen. When it does, he continued, voice hard. Call me. Immediately. I won't need to. Promise me.
No.
Amara. Goodbye, Jae-sung. She hung up, threw the phone on the mattress. Zoe looked up. Mama? You okay? Amara knelt down. pulled her daughter close. I'm fine, baby, but we need to talk about strangers. Okay. Even nice strangers. Even ones with presents. You don't take things from people I haven't met. Understand? Zoe nodded seriously. Was the teacher bad?
No.
But how to explain this? Sometimes people are nice for complicated reasons. What reasons? I don't know yet. Zoe hugged her, small arms fierce around her neck. I love you, Mama. I love you more. And Amara held her daughter and wondered what she'd gotten them into. 2 weeks of silence. No cars. No calls. No men in suits. Amara almost believed it was over. Almost. Then her landlord knocked on her door. Mr. Park was a small man with a large voice. He spoke rapid Korean, barely pausing for breath. Amara caught every third word. Enough to understand.
Rent.
Increase. Next month. Double.
Double.
She switched to English. That's not legal. He switched to, accent thick. Legal. New owner. New price. I have a lease. Lease say month to month. She'd signed it 3 years ago without reading it carefully. Stupid. Desperate. I can't afford double. He shrugged. Then move. I need time. 1 month. Mr. Park, please. Not my choice. Owner's choice. He started to leave, paused. You good tenant. Quiet.
Clean.
But business is business.
The door closed.
Amara stood in her tiny apartment and did math that didn't work. Double rent meant no food. Meant pulling Zoe from school. Meant. She grabbed her phone. Stared at it. Put it down. Picked it up again.
No.
She'd find another way. Another apartment. Another job. Another.
Her phone rang.
Unknown number. But she knew. Hello. I heard about your landlord. Jae-sung's voice. Careful.
How?
I have people who listen. I thought you pulled them back. I lied. Amara laughed. Brittle and sharp. Of course you did. Let me help.
No.
Amara. I said no. You can't afford double rent. I'll figure it out.
How?
That's not your concern. Everything about you is my concern. She closed her eyes. Please stop. I can fix this. 1 phone call. Your rent stays the same. And then I owe you. You owe me nothing. That's not how this works. You help me, I'm in your pocket. That's not, he stopped. Started over. What do you think I want from you? I don't know. That's what scares me. Breathing on the line. She could picture him. Wherever he was, jaw tight, hand clenched around the phone. I don't want anything, he said quietly. I just want you to stop struggling. Struggling is all I know. It doesn't have to be. Yes, it does. Because easy money comes with chains. Not from me. Especially from you. Silence. Then, you're right. She blinked. What? You're right. If I fix this, you'll feel obligated. You'll feel owned. And his voice roughened. I don't want that either. Then what do you want? I want you to trust me. I can't.
I know.
But I'm asking anyway. Amara sat on her mattress. Zoe was at school. The apartment felt too small and too empty at once. If I let you help, she said slowly. If I let you fix this, what happens next? Nothing. Don't lie. I'm not. Nothing happens. Your rent stays stable. You keep living here. He paused. I keep knowing you're okay. That's all. That's all. What about the debt? What debt? The one you keep talking about. The one where you owe me everything. That's my debt, not yours. Debts go both ways. Not this one. She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to believe him. 1 phone call, she asked. 1 phone call. And my rent stays the same? Yes. And I don't owe you anything? Hesitation. You'll owe me your continued existence in Seoul. Because if you leave, I can't, he stopped. Can't what? Keep you safe. There it was again. That word. Safe. What are you protecting me from? She asked. Everything I've touched. That's cryptic. It's honest. Amara looked around her apartment. At Zoe's drawings on the wall. At the mattresses on the floor. At the life she'd built from nothing. Make the call, she said. Relief in his exhale. Thank you. But Jae-sung. Yes. This is the last time. No more help. No more fixing. After this, we're done. Silence. Okay, he said. She knew it was a lie. He knew she knew. But they both pretended otherwise. Her rent didn't double. Mr. Park came back the next day, apologetic. New owner changed mind. Rent stays same. Very sorry for confusion. Amara thanked him and closed the door and leaned against it. She should feel relieved. Instead, she felt caught. The package arrived 3 days later. No return address. Just her name written in elegant Korean script. Inside was a phone.
New.
Expensive. And a note. In case yours breaks. No strings. She should send it back. Should refuse it. Should. Her old phone chose that moment to die. Screen cracked. Battery swollen. Finally giving up. Amara stared at the new phone in its box. Coincidence?
No.
Nothing with him was coincidence. She set up the phone. Found only one number programmed in. Safe. No other apps. No tracking. Just basic functionality. And that one contact. She could delete it. Should delete it. Didn't. Weeks passed like water again. Amara worked her jobs. Raised her daughter. Lived her life. The phone sat in her pocket. Silent. Waiting. She never called. He never called either. But sometimes, late at night, she'd take out the phone and stare at that single contact. Safe. One word that promised everything and meant nothing. One word that felt like a chain made of silk. The call came at 3 a.m. Not from him. From the hospital. Ms. Williams? This is Asen Medical Center. Your mother. Amara's world tilted. Her mother. In Atlanta.
Sick.
Very sick. Heart attack.
Stable now.
But she needed to come home. Amara hung up. Stared at nothing. Plane tickets. She'd need plane tickets. And someone to watch Zoe. And time off work. And money. She'd need money she didn't have. Her hands shook as she opened her banking app. Looked at the number that never changed. $437. A ticket to Atlanta cost at least $1,000. She could borrow. Could ask the other teachers. Could. Her eyes found the new phone. Found that single contact.
No.
She'd figured out herself. She had to. But morning brought reality. No one would lend her money. No one knew her well enough. Trusted her enough. The academy couldn't give her time off. Too many other teachers waiting for hours. She had no options. No choices. No way forward. Except one. Amara picked up the phone. Stared at it. Put it down. Zoe came out of the bathroom. Already in her uniform. Mama? You look sad. I'm okay, baby. Is Grandma okay? Amara's throat closed. She told Zoe last night, carefully. Your grandma's sick, but she's going to be fine. Grandma needs me to visit. When? Soon. Can I come? Not this time. Zoe's face fell, but she nodded. Already learning disappointment. Amara watched her daughter eat cereal and knew what she had to do. She called at noon. He answered immediately. Amara. I need help. Silence. Then, carefully. Okay. My mother's in the hospital. In Atlanta. I need to go home. I need. Her voice broke. I need money for a ticket. And someone to watch Zoe. And I don't have anyone else to ask. Say no more. Jae-sung. There's a ticket waiting at Incheon. Business class. Tomorrow morning. Your daughter will stay with my housekeeper. She raised 3 children, speaks English, completely trustworthy. You'll have a car to the airport. Another in Atlanta. Whatever you need, however long you need. Tears burned her eyes. What do I owe you? Nothing. That's not true. Then owe me a phone call when you land. So I know you're safe. That's all. That's all. Amara sank onto her mattress. Why? She whispered. Because you called. Finally, you called. That's what you wanted? For me to need you? No. His voice softened. I wanted you to trust me. Even a little. Even once. This isn't trust. It's a start. She wiped her eyes. Your housekeeper. Is she kind? Patient? She'll treat Zoe like her own granddaughter. If anything happens to her, I'll burn the world down. No hesitation. Nothing will happen. Amara believed him. That should terrify her. Instead, it felt like exhaling after holding her breath for months.
Thank you, she said.
Don't thank me. Just come back. Why? Because Seoul is safer when you're in it. That doesn't make sense. I know.
He paused.
Call me when you land? Okay. Amara? Yes. Your mother will be fine. You don't know that.
No.
But I believe it anyway. The line went quiet. Jae-sung. Still here. This doesn't mean we're friends. I know. Or that I trust you. I know that too. But she stopped. Started again. Thank you. For helping. Always, he said quietly. And hung up. The flight attendant brought her champagne. Amara stared at the glass like it might explain how she'd ended up in business class, flying home to a crisis, leaving her daughter with a stranger who worked for a man she barely knew. She didn't drink it, just watched the bubbles rise and thought about debt and gravity and how both pulled you down eventually. Zoe had cried when she left. Not loudly. Just quiet tears that destroyed Amara more than screaming would have. I'll be back soon, baby. Promise. Promise. Mrs. Kwan, Jae-sung's housekeeper, had held Zoe's hand and smiled warmly. Gray hair. Kind eyes. The sort of grandmother everyone deserved. She'll be safe, Mrs. Kwan said in careful English. I promise to. Amara had no choice but to believe her. The car to the airport had been silent. The driver spoke no English. Just drove efficiently while Amara watched Seoul disappear behind her and wondered if she'd made a terrible mistake. She texted Jae-sung from the gate.
About to board.
His response came immediately. Safe flight. Call me when you land. Mrs. Kwan will send photos every few hours. She typed and deleted 3 responses before settling on. Thank you. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Then, always. Now, 30,000 feet above the Pacific, Amara pulled out the new phone and scrolled through the photos Mrs. Kwan had already sent. Zoe eating lunch. Zoe drawing. Zoe laughing at something off camera.
Safe. Happy.
Cared for. Amara's chest ached. She fell asleep somewhere over the ocean and dreamed of her mother's hands braiding her hair, teaching her strength through repetition and patience. Atlanta hit her like a memory made solid. Humid air. English everywhere. Faces that looked like hers. The relief of being unremarkable nearly broke her. The car Jae-sung promised waited at arrivals. Another silent driver. Another smooth ride through streets she recognized, but felt distant from now. 3 years away had made her a foreigner in her own home. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and fear. Her mother was asleep when she arrived. Smaller than Amara remembered. Grayer. The machines beeped steadily, counting heartbeats like currency. Amara took her mother's hand. I'm here, Mama. Her mother's eyes fluttered open. Focused. Filled with tears. Baby girl. Don't cry. You're okay. You're going to be okay. How did you, the ticket? Don't worry about it. Amara Lynn Williams, don't you lie to me in a hospital bed. Despite everything, Amara smiled. A friend helped. What friend? Someone I met in Seoul. Her mother studied her face with the same intensity she'd used when Amara was 16 and lying about curfew. What kind of friend? The complicated kind. He or she? Does it matter? It does if you're flying business class on his dime. Amara looked away. It's not like that. Then what's it like? I don't know yet. Her mother squeezed her hand. Weak but determined. Baby, you've been alone too long. Taking care of that beautiful grandbaby all by yourself. I know you're scared. I know men have hurt you before. But if someone's helping, maybe let them. It's more complicated than that. Everything's complicated. Doesn't mean it's wrong. A nurse came in, checked monitors, smiled professionally, and left. In the silence after, Amara's mother spoke again. This friend. He good to Zoe? He's never even met her. Not really. But he's protecting her while you're here? Yes. Then he can't be all bad. Amara wanted to explain. Wanted to tell her mother about mafia bosses and debts and mercy exchanged in alleys. About how protection felt like chains and help felt like surrender. But her mother was tired. Already drifting. Get some rest, Mama. You too, baby. You look exhausted. I'm fine. Another lie. Her mother smiled. Must be where you get it from. Amara stayed in Atlanta for 5 days. Her mother improved slowly. Heart strong enough. Will stronger. I'm not dying yet, she declared on day 3. Got a grandbaby to spoil. You've never even met her. Whose fault is that? Guilt twisted in Amara's stomach. Plane tickets are expensive, Mama. I know, baby. I know. Her mother touched her face. But you'll bring her to meet me someday? I promise. Every few hours, photos arrived from Mrs. Kwan. Zoe at a park. Zoe baking cookies. Zoe reading with Mrs. Kwan beside her. Each photo came with a brief caption. She's wonderful. Don't worry. Amara worried anyway, but less than she expected. On day 4, Jae-sung called. She almost didn't answer. Was sitting in the hospital cafeteria, drinking bad coffee, trying not to think about return flights and reality. Hello. How is she?
Better.
Strong. Like her daughter. Amara's throat tightened. How's Zoe? Perfect, according to Mrs. Kwan, who is also falling in love with her. She's easy to love. Yes.
Pause.
So is her mother. Amara set down her coffee. Don't what? Say things like that. Why not? Because it's not true. And because she stopped. Because I don't know what game you're playing. Silence. Then, carefully. This isn't a game. Then what is it? I told you.
A debt.
Debts get repaid. This keeps growing. I know. So, when does it end? I don't know. His voice dropped. Maybe it doesn't. Amara closed her eyes. Around her, the cafeteria hummed with other people's emergencies. Other people's grief. I can't be what you need, she said quietly. You already are. You don't even know me. I know you count coins twice. I know you teach English to children who barely see you. I know you sent money home when you had none to spare. I know you spent your last $20 on soup for a stranger. That doesn't mean you know me. Then tell me what I'm missing. Everything she wanted to say. You're missing the parts that aren't kind. The parts that are tired and angry and so fucking scared all the time. I'm not good, she said instead. Neither am I. I'm not talking about morality. I'm talking about, she struggled for words. I'm talking about how I'm barely surviving. How some days I resent my daughter for needing me. How I'm exhausted and mean and human, he finished. You're describing being human. You don't understand.
No.
But I want to. A doctor walked past, white coat pristine. Amara watched him disappear toward the ICU. Why? She asked. Why do you care? Because everyone else in my life wants something from me.
Power.
Money. Protection. Access.
He paused.
You're the only person who wants me to leave you alone. And that's attractive to you? It's novel. Despite everything, she almost smiled. You have terrible taste. Apparently. Silence settled. Comfortable somehow. Jae-sung. Yes. Thank you.
For Zoe.
For the ticket. For her voice caught. For everything. You're welcome. But when I get back. I know. Boundaries. Distance. Invisibility. Can you actually do that?
No. Honest.
But I'll try. That's all I can ask. Amara? Yes. Fly safe. He hung up before she could respond. She returned to Seoul on a rainy Tuesday. Mrs. Kwan brought Zoe to the airport. Her daughter ran to her, arms wide, face bright. Mama. Amara caught her up, breathing in her shampoo and sweetness. I missed you, baby. I missed you more. But Mrs. Kwan is so nice. She taught me how to make kimchi pancakes. And we went to the park. And she has a cat named Mr. Whiskers who's grumpy but soft. Amara looked over Zoe's head at Mrs. Kwan.
Thank you, she said.
For everything. Mrs. Kwan smiled. She's a joy. You've raised her well. I'm trying. You're succeeding. The older woman handed her a bag. Some meals. For the next few days. So you don't have to cook. I can't. You can. And you will. Because Jae-sung SSI would be very upset if you refused. Amara took the bag. Felt its weight. Felt the care packed into every container. Is he? She stopped. Is he here?
No.
He thought you'd want space. Relief and disappointment tangled together. Tell him thank you. Tell him yourself. Mrs. Kwan pressed a piece of paper into her hand. When you're ready. 3 weeks passed. Amara didn't call. The paper with Mrs. Kwan's number stayed folded in her wallet. The phone with one contact stayed charged on her nightstand. She returned to teaching. Returned to survival. Returned to the rhythm of barely enough. But something had shifted. The landlord smiled at her now. Bowed slightly when they passed in the hallway. One of her academies offered her more hours. Better pay. No explanation. The convenience store clerk started giving her discounts. Small ones. Barely noticeable. Seoul had rearranged itself around her. Or someone had rearranged Seoul. She wanted to be angry. Couldn't quite manage it. The invitation came on a Saturday. Hand-delivered by a teenager on a bicycle.
Fancy envelope.
Formal Korean, she had to ask her neighbor to translate. It's a gallery opening, Mrs. Kim from Forby explained. Very exclusive. For someone named. She squinted. Choi Jae-sung. Amara's heart stopped. What kind of gallery? Contemporary art. Says you're invited as a special guest. Mrs. Kim looked impressed. You know important people. Not really. This envelope says otherwise. Inside was a card. English on one side, Korean on the other. Your presence would honor me. No obligation. No expectations.
Just art and conversation. J.
At the bottom, written by hand. Zoe is welcome. Mrs. Kwan will be there. She should throw it away. Should ignore it. Should. Mama, what's that? Zoe peered at the card, sounding out the words. An invitation. To what? An art show. Can we go? I love art. Amara looked at her daughter's hopeful face and felt the trap close gently. Maybe, she said, which meant yes. Zoe knew it meant yes. The gallery was in Gangnam. Glass and steel, and the kind of minimalism that screamed wealth. Amara wore her only good dress. Black.
Simple.
3 years old. Zoe wore the pink dress they'd found at a second-hand shop, hair braided with beads that clicked when she moved. They looked out of place immediately. Everyone else wore designer labels and confidence. Spoke Korean in the polished accent of old money. Moved through the space like they owned it. Maybe they did. Amara held Zoe's hand and considered leaving. Then Mrs. Kwan appeared. There you are. I was watching for you. She bent down to Zoe's level. Remember me? Mrs. Kwan. Is Mr. Whiskers here? Not tonight. But I have pictures on my phone. Want to see? Zoe nodded eagerly. Mrs. Kwan took her hand and led her toward a quieter corner, leaving Amara alone in the crowd. She scanned the room. Looking for him. Not looking for him. Found him by the windows. He wore a dark suit. Hair styled back. Speaking with 3 older men who clearly deferred to him. He looked different here. Powerful. Remote. Like the broken man in the alley had been a dream. As if sensing her gaze, he looked up. Their eyes met across the gallery. He said something to the men and walked toward her. The crowd parted without seeming to notice they were parting. You came, he said when he reached her. You invited me. I wasn't sure you'd accept. I wasn't either. He almost smiled. Thank you. For coming. Trusting me enough to bring Zoe. Wearing that dress. She glanced down. What's wrong with my dress? Nothing. Everything. You look, he stopped. You look exactly like yourself. Is that a compliment? The highest one I know. Around them, people watched discreetly. Whispered. She could feel their curiosity, like pressure. They're staring, she said quietly. Let them. Easy for you to say.
No.
His voice dropped. It's not. But I don't care what they think. Why not? Because you're here. And that matters more. A server passed with champagne. Jae-sung took 2 glasses, handed her one. To Mercy, he said. She didn't drink. To survival. Same thing sometimes. Not in my experience. They stood there, glasses raised, not toasting. Finally, Amara sipped. The champagne was better than the airlines. Dry and cold, and expensive. Whose art is this? She asked. My brother's. She nearly dropped the glass. You're the one who… Yes. Jae-sung looked around the gallery. At the paintings that covered the walls. Abstract.
Dark.
Beautiful in a wounded way. He painted when he wasn't working. This was his dream. A show like this. I'm sorry he didn't get to see it. Me too.
He drank.
But maybe he does. Wherever he is. Amara studied the nearest painting. Blacks and grays, and 1 slash of red. It's angry, she said. He was angry. At what? Everything.
Me.
Our father. The life we were born into. Jae-sung moved closer to the painting. He wanted out. Wanted normal. Wanted what you have, a small apartment and honest work and a daughter who smiles. I don't have much. You have everything that matters. Now you're romanticizing poverty.
No.
I'm recognizing freedom. She laughed.
Bitter.
I'm not free. I'm trapped by money and visas, and… But you chose your trap. We don't get to choose ours. The we hung there, heavy with meaning. Who's we? She asked, though she knew. People born into families that own them. You could leave.
No.
I couldn't. Neither could he. Jae-sung's jaw tightened. And when he tried, they killed him. The gallery noise faded. Became distant. They… Amara repeated. Who's they? The people I work for. The people I'm becoming. Becoming? He looked at her. Really looked. Eyes dark and tired and honest. I'm taking over my father's organization. That's what the last 6 months have been. Consolidation. Proving myself. Eliminating threats. Eliminating. Yes. You mean… I mean what you think I mean. Amara set down her glass before she dropped it. You're telling me this why? Because you asked. And because I'm tired of lying to the one person who doesn't want anything from me. I want you to leave me alone. I know. It's incredibly appealing. Despite the horror creeping through her, she almost smiled. You're broken, she said. Completely. And you think I can fix you?
No.
I think you can remind me I was human once. That's too much weight. I know. I'm sorry. He turned back to the paintings. You should go. This was selfish. Dragging you here. Exposing you to… He gestured vaguely. All of this. She should leave. Should grab Zoe and run. Instead, she asked, what was his name? Your brother. Min-jun. Tell me about him. Jae-sung looked at her.
Surprised. Why?
Because someone should know who he was. Before he died. Before he became a reason for revenge. Something cracked in his expression. He liked jazz. Jae-sung said quietly. American jazz. Miles Davis. John Coltrane. Used to play it while he painted. Drove our father crazy. What else? He was kind. Too kind. Would give money to homeless people. Volunteer at shelters. All the things that made him weak in our father's eyes. That's not weakness. I know that now. They stood together, looking at dead man's art, while Seoul's elite circulated around them. I'm sorry you lost him, Amara said. I'm sorry I couldn't save him. Sometimes people can't be saved. I know, but I keep trying anyway. He looked at her. With you. I don't need saving. Everyone needs saving. From what? From being alone. The words landed between them. True and terrible. Amara thought of her tiny apartment, of counting coins, of carrying everything by herself because there was no one else. I'm good at alone, she said. That doesn't mean you have to be. Before she could respond, Zoe ran over. Mama, Mrs. Kwan showed me Mr. Whiskers and she says maybe we can visit him sometime and he's orange and so fluffy and she stopped. Looked at Jae-sung. Stepped slightly behind Amara. Jae-sung immediately crouched. Made himself smaller. Non-threatening. Hello, he said in English. You must be Zoe. She nodded.
Shy.
Your mother talks about you.
Zoe peeked at Amara.
She does. All the time. She says you're very smart. I can read chapter books now. That is very smart. He smiled.
Genuine.
I'm Jae-sung, a friend of your mother's. The one who gave me the pencil case? Amara's stomach dropped, but Jae-sung just nodded.
Yes.
Did you like it? It's my favorite. But Mama said I shouldn't take presents from strangers. Your mama is very wise. Are you a stranger?
Yes.
But I'm trying to be a friend. Zoe considered this seriously. Mama doesn't have a lot of friends. I know. Why not? Out of the mouths of babes. Amara wanted to sink through the floor. But Jae-sung answered honestly. Because friendship is hard when you're far from home. And because your mama is very careful about who she trusts. That's 'cause she has to protect me, Zoe said proudly.
Yes.
She's very good at protecting you. The best. I agree. Zoe smiled, then looked at the paintings. Did you make these?
No.
My brother did. Where is he? Amara tensed. He died, Jae-sung said simply.
Oh. Zoe processed this.
I'm sorry. Thank you. My daddy died too. Before I was born. Amara's breath caught. Jae-sung's eyes flicked to her, then back to Zoe. That must be hard. Sometimes. But Mama says it's okay to be sad about people we don't remember. Because they were still real. Your mama is very smart. I know. Zoe tugged Amara's hand. Can we look at the paintings? Sure, baby. Mrs. Kwan reappeared. I'll take her around. Give you two a chance to talk. Before Amara could protest, Zoe had taken Mrs. Kwan's hand and wandered toward a large canvas across the room, leaving her alone with Jae-sung again. Her father, he said carefully. Not now. I didn't know. Because it's none of your business. You're right. He straightened. I'm sorry. They watched Zoe point at paintings, chattering to Mrs. Kwan. She's remarkable, Jae-sung said. She's everything. I can see that. Silence. Then, what happens now? He looked at her. What do you want to happen? I want to go home. Feed my daughter. Go to bed. Wake up and teach English. Live my normal, boring, safe life. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
I'll have a car take you home. That's it. What did you expect? I don't know. More. She gestured vaguely. Pressure.
Demands.
Strings. No strings. I told you. Then why invite me here? Because I wanted you to see who my brother was. Wanted you to see, he stopped. I wanted you to see the part of my family that wasn't poison. Why does that matter? Because I need you to know I came from somewhere human. Before I forget completely. Amara looked at him, this man in his expensive suit surrounded by his dead brother's art, and saw the truth. He was already forgetting. And he was terrified. Jae-sung, she said quietly. Yes. Don't make me your humanity. That's not fair to either of us. I know. Then let me go. Really let me go. He smiled. Sad and small. I'm trying. This is me trying. Where had she heard that before? Zoe came running back. Mama, can we get ice cream on the way home? If there's a place open. There will be, Jae-sung said. I'll tell the driver. You don't have to. I want to. He crouched down to Zoe's level again. What flavor? Strawberry. Good choice. He stood. Looked at Amara. Thank you for coming. You're welcome. And Amara? Yes. If you need anything. Anything at all. Call. I won't. I know. But the offer stands. Mrs. Kwan appeared with their coats. The car was already waiting downstairs. As they left, Amara looked back once. Jae-sung stood alone in his brother's gallery, surrounded by ghosts and strangers. He raised his glass slightly. She didn't raise hers back, just took her daughter's hand and walked out into the soul night. 2 months of silence. Real silence this time. No calls. No cars. No mysterious help. Amara almost believed it was over. Then winter came hard and fast, and Zoe got sick. It started as a cough, became a fever, became something worse. The clinic said pneumonia. The hospital said admission. The bills said impossible. Amara sat beside Zoe's hospital bed and did math that ended in bankruptcy. Her daughter's breathing rattled, small chest rising and falling too fast. Mama, Zoe whispered. Am I going to die? No, baby. Never. I'm scared. I know. Me too. She held Zoe's hand and felt time compress into a single choice. Pride or survival. Alone or helped. Free or saved. She pulled out the phone. Stared at the single contact. Safe. Her hands shook as she dialed. He answered on the first ring. Amara. I need help. Where are you? She told him. I'm on my way. Jae-sung. Don't apologize. Don't explain. Just. His voice cracked. Just hold on. He arrived in 30 minutes. Walked into the hospital like he owned it. Maybe he did. Amara stood when she saw him. Exhausted. Terrified. Grateful. She's stable, she said immediately. But the bills. Already handled. What? I called ahead. Everything's paid. She'll get the best care. I can't afford. You don't have to. It's done. Amara's legs buckled. He caught her. Held her up. I've got you, he said quietly. And she let herself believe it. Let herself break. Let herself cry in the arms of a man who is dangerous and kind and impossible. Thank you, she sobbed. Thank you. Thank you. Always, he said. Always. Zoe recovered slowly. 3 days in the hospital. Then home with antibiotics and instructions and follow-up appointments. All paid for. All arranged. All made possible by one phone call. Amara tried to thank him properly. Tried to articulate what it meant to have someone catch her when she fell. But words felt insufficient. So she invited him to dinner instead. Their tiny apartment had never felt smaller. Jae-sung sat on the floor because they had no table. Ate rice and soup because that's all she could afford to make. Zoe chattered at him, fever-brave now, telling him about her hospital TV and the nice nurses and how Mama cried but said she wasn't. He listened. Really listened. Asked questions. Made her laugh. Amara watched from the kitchen area and felt something shift. Not attraction.
Not yet.
Recognition. This man, this dangerous, powerful, broken man, was gentle with her daughter, was careful in her space, was trying so hard to be human. After dinner, Zoe fell asleep on her mattress. Exhausted from healing, Amara and Jae-sung sat by the window, not talking, just existing together. I can't keep accepting your help, she said finally. Why not? Because I can't repay it. I don't want repayment. Then what do you want? He looked at her. In the dim light, his face was softer, younger. This, he said. Dinner in a tiny apartment. A child's laughter. Soup that tastes like home. He paused. Normal things. Things I thought I'd never have. You can have them. Not in my world. Then leave your world. I can't. Why not? Because I'm my father's son, and that legacy doesn't let go. Amara pulled her knees to her chest. Your brother tried to leave, and they killed him for it. So you're trapped. Yes. Forever. Probably. She looked at him. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. It's reality. Fuck reality. He blinked, then laughed. Actually laughed. What? She asked.
You.
Swearing. He shook his head. I like you angry. I'm not angry. I'm sad. For you. Don't be. Too late. They sat in silence. Seoul hummed outside. Zoe breathed softly. Amara, he said quietly. Yes. Can I ask you something? Okay. Why did you really help me? That night in the alley.
She thought about it.
Honest thought. Because you said please, she answered. And because she stopped. Because I was so tired of being alone. And even helping a stranger felt like connection. He nodded slowly. I understand that. Do you? More than you know. Another silence. Comfortable. Then, what happens now? She asked. I don't know. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. He looked at her. I can't stop protecting you. I won't.
But I can, he paused.
I can try to give you space. Try to let you live. While you stay in the shadows? Yes. Watching? Yes. Jae-sung, that's not healthy. I know. For either of us. I know that too. Amara sighed. You're impossible. Completely. And stubborn. Runs in the family. And you're not going to give up, are you?
No.
She should be angry. Should push him away. Instead, she asked, what if I don't want you in the shadows? He went very still. What? What if she struggled for words. What if I wanted you to just be here? Normal. Present. Not watching from cars and sending help through strangers. I don't know how to do normal. Learn. It's dangerous.
For you.
For Zoe. Everything's dangerous. At least this way, I know what I'm choosing. He stared at her. You're choosing me? I'm choosing honesty over shadows. I'm choosing. She took a breath. I'm choosing to stop being alone. Amara. I'm not in love with you. She needed to make that clear. I barely know you. But she looked at Zoe. I can't do this alone anymore. And you're offering help. Real help. So I'm saying yes. But on my terms. What terms? No more secrets. No more watching from cars. You want to help? Then be part of our lives. Really part of them. Meals. Movies. Homework. The boring parts. I can do that. Even if it means less time for your, she gestured vaguely. Organization. I'll make time. Promise. I promise. She held out her hand. Then we have a deal. He took it. Held it. Didn't let go. Thank you, he said quietly. For what? For seeing me. Despite everything. You're not invisible, Jae-sung. You're just scared. Of what? Being human. He smiled. Sad and true. You might be right. I'm always right. I'm learning that. They sat like that, hands clasped, space between them shrinking, while Seoul turned dark outside, and Zoe dreamed of getting better. And for the first time in years, neither of them felt alone. 6 months passed like breathing.
Slow. Steady. Real.
Jae-sung came to dinner every Thursday. Taught Zoe Korean. Fixed things in the apartment that had been broken for years. He never asked for more than she offered. Never pushed for intimacy. Just existed. In their space. Part of their rhythm. The protection continued. Invisible but present. Amara stopped resenting it. Started seeing it for what it was. Love in the only language he knew. Her mother came to visit in spring. Met Jae-sung over dinner. So you're the complicated friend, she said. Yes, ma'am. You love my daughter? Amara choked on her rice. Mama. But Jae-sung didn't hesitate. Yes. And my grandbaby? Yes. Good.
Her mother nodded.
Then I approve. Mama, we're not. We're just friends. Her mother smiled. Baby, I didn't raise a fool. And neither did his mother. Jae-sung looked away. My mother's dead. I know. Mrs. Kwon told me. Amara's mother reached across the table. Took his hand. But she'd be proud of you. For choosing love over revenge. I haven't chosen. Yes, you have. You just don't know it yet. The kiss happened on a Tuesday. Zoe was at school. Amara was washing dishes. Jae-sung was drying them.
Domestic.
Normal. Boring.
Perfect.
She turned to say something, forgot what, and he was there.
Close.
Looking at her with those dark eyes that had seen too much, but still somehow held hope. "Can I?" he started. She kissed him before he finished asking. It was soft. Careful. Like neither of them wanted to break the moment. When they pulled apart, he smiled. "I've wanted to do that for 8 months. Why didn't you?" "Because you needed to choose me, not be chosen." "I choose you," she whispered. "I know. That's why I'm terrified." "Of what?" "Ruining this. Ruining you." She touched his face. "I'm not fragile." "I know. But I am." They stood in her tiny kitchen, holding each other like anchors. "What happens now?" she asked. "We try.
We fail.
We try again." "That's not romantic."
No.
"But it's honest." She laughed. "You're learning. You're teaching." They kissed again. Longer this time. Deeper. When Zoe came home, she found them cooking dinner together. Laughing. Normal. "Are you Mama's boyfriend now?" she asked Jae-sung. He looked at Amara. Question in his eyes. "Maybe," Amara said. "How would you feel about that?" Zoe considered seriously. "Does that mean he'll be here more?" "Probably. And we can visit Mr. Whiskers?" "Mrs. Kwon already invited us," Jae-sung said. "Then yes." Zoe nodded decisively. Boyfriend is good. And just like that, their family grew. But peace in their world was temporary. The threat came 3 months later. Amara was walking home from the market when she noticed the car.
Black.
Expensive. Following too closely. Her heart rate spiked. She turned down a side street. The car followed. She pulled out her phone, the new one, always charged, and dialed. Jae-sung answered immediately. "Someone's following me." "Where are you?" She told him. "Keep walking toward the main road. My people are 2 minutes away." Jae-sung. "You're going to be fine. I promise." The car pulled up beside her. Window rolled down. A man she didn't recognize leaned out. Spoke in Korean. "Mr. Choi would like a word." "I don't understand." "In English then." Accented. "Get in the car, Ms. Williams."
No.
It wasn't a request. The back door opened. Another man, larger, stepped out. Amara ran. She heard footsteps behind her.
Shouts.
Then gunshots. Not at her. Past her. She hit the ground, groceries scattering. When she looked up, 3 men in suits surrounded the car. Guns drawn. Professional. Jae-sung's men. The car sped away. One of the men helped her up. She recognized him, the scarred one from months ago.
"Ma'am."
"Are you hurt?" She shook her head.
Couldn't speak.
"We need to move you."
Now.
"My daughter." "Already secured. Mrs. Kwon has her." "What's happening?" "Internal politics. Nothing you need to worry about." "I'm being followed by men with guns. I'm very worried." The man almost smiled.
Fair.
"But boss will explain." "Come." They drove her to a building she'd never seen. Not Jae-sung's penthouse. Somewhere else. Fortified. Safe. He was waiting in the lobby. When he saw her, relief and rage warred on his face. He pulled her into his arms. Held her so tight she could barely breathe. "I'm sorry," he said into her hair. "I'm so sorry. What's happening?" "My father's old rivals."
They know about you.
About Zoe. Ice flooded her veins.
How?
"I was careful, but not careful enough." He pulled back, looked at her. "I need to send you away. Just for a few days. Until this is handled." "Send me where?" "Japan. I have a place there. Secured. My people will."
No.
He blinked.
What?
"I'm not running." "Amara, they threatened you. And you'll handle it. That's what you do, right?" "Yes, but..." "Then handle it. While I stay here. In my home. With my daughter." "That's not safe." "Nowhere safe. At least here, I have you." He stared at her. "You're not making sense." I'm making perfect sense. You promised me normal. You promised me present. Running away isn't normal. Neither is being shot at.
No.
But standing my ground is. She gripped his arms. I'm not running anymore. Not from poverty. Not from danger. Not from you. So either protect me here or what? Or let me go. Really let me go. His face went pale. I can't. Then make this safe. Make us safe. And stop trying to control how I survive. Silence. Then he kissed her. Hard and desperate. You're impossible, he breathed. You keep saying that, because it keeps being true. Jae-sung. I'll handle it. Tonight. And it won't happen again.
How?
You don't want to know. She looked at him. At the man she'd chosen. The man who killed to protect what was his. You're right. I don't. He smiled.
Grim. See?
You're learning too. She didn't see him for 3 days. Mrs. Kwon stayed with her and Zoe. 6 men rotated guard duty outside the apartment. The building suddenly had cameras it never had before. Amara taught English over video call. Cooked dinner. Read to Zoe. Pretended everything was normal. On the 3rd night he came back. She heard the door open. Saw him in the doorway. He looked exhausted. Haunted. But alive. Is it done? She asked. Yes. Are we safe? Yes. She went to him. He pulled her close. Did you? She stopped. Never mind. I did what was necessary. I don't want to know. I know. They stood like that, holding each other, both knowing the truth. He'd killed for her, would kill again, and she was choosing him anyway. I love you, she said. He went rigid. What? I love you. I don't want to. It's terrifying and stupid and dangerous. But I do. He pulled back, looked at her face like he was memorizing it. Say it again. I love you. Again. I love you, Choi Jae-sung. I love you despite your world, and because of who you are in mine. I love you for protecting us and for trying to be human. I love you. He kissed her, stopped the words with his mouth. When they broke apart, he was crying. I don't deserve you, he whispered. Probably not. I'll ruin you. Maybe. I'll never be normal. I don't want normal. I want you. He laughed. Broken and beautiful. You're either very brave or very stupid. Both. Definitely both. I love you, he said. I've loved you since you spent your last $20 on soup. I've loved you through every moment you told me to leave. I've loved you. She kissed him back, stopped his words with her mouth. They fell into bed together. Zoe asleep in the next room. Guards outside. Soul breathing around them. And for the first time, neither felt the weight of survival. Just the lightness of being seen. A year passed. Jae-sung moved them to a better apartment. Not his penthouse. Something in between. Safe. Comfortable. Theirs. He taught Zoe Korean seriously now. She called him Jae-sung Appa. Almost brother. Almost father. He didn't correct her. Amara's mother visited twice. Approved more each time. You're good for each other, she said. Broken in compatible ways. That's not romantic, Mama.
No.
But it's true. Mrs. Kwon became family. Zoe's grandmother in everything but blood. The protection continued. But Amara stopped noticing. It became background. Like breathing. She started teaching at a real academy. Legally. With a proper contract. Jae-sung pulled strings. She let him. Because she'd learned that accepting help wasn't weakness. It was trust. The proposal came on a winter night. They were walking along the Han River. Zoe between them, holding both their hands. Mama, look. A shooting star. Make a wish, baby. What did you wish? Can't tell. Won't come true. They walked in comfortable silence.
Happy.
Whole. At a bench overlooking the water, Jae-sung stopped. Sit with me? Amara sat. Zoe climbed onto Jae-sung's lap, stealing his warmth. I need to tell you something, he said. Amara's heart sank. What's wrong? Nothing. Everything. I don't know how to do this. Do what? He shifted Zoe gently, knelt on the cold ground, pulled out a small box. Amara's breath stopped. I know I'm not what you imagined, he said. I know I'm dangerous and damaged and… Jae-sung. Let me finish. Please. He opened the box. A simple ring. Elegant.
Perfect.
You saved me that night. Not with soup. With mercy. With the reminder that kindness exists. And I've spent every day since trying to be worthy of that gift. You don't have to. I do. Because you chose me. Despite everything. Despite fear and danger and common sense. You chose me. His voice cracked. So I'm asking, will you choose me forever? Tears blurred her vision. This is crazy, she whispered. I know. We're crazy. Completely. Your world is our world now. I have a daughter. I love her like my own. I'm not Korean. I don't care. Your organization is already planning the wedding. She laughed through tears. You're very confident. I'm terrified, but I'm asking anyway. Zoe tugged his sleeve. What's happening? I'm asking your mama to marry me. What should she say? What do you think she should say? Zoe considered, then looked at her mother.
Say yes, Mama.
He makes you smile. Amara looked at her daughter, then at this man kneeling in the cold. This man who'd been broken in an alley, who'd called mercy rare, who'd protected them through everything, who'd learned to be human again through their love. Yes, she said. He slipped the ring on her finger, stood, pulled her into his arms. Thank you, he whispered. For what? For seeing me, for saving me, for loving me. You saved me too.
No.
You saved yourself. He smiled. I just made sure you could. They kissed while Zoe cheered and Seoul glittered around them. 3 years later, the restaurant was small, traditional Korean, the kind tourists never found. Amara sat across from a young woman, African, American, lost-looking, new to Seoul, struggling, visibly counting coins before ordering. Amara remembered that feeling. When the server came, she ordered for both of them, paid before the woman could protest. I can't, the woman started. You can, and you will.
Why?
Amara thought about alley conversations, about soup and mercy, about how one small act could reshape a life. Because someone helped me once, when I needed it most.
Who?
A stranger, who became family. The woman looked skeptical. That doesn't happen in real life. Sometimes it does. They ate together. Amara asked questions, learned her story. Single mother, teaching English under the table, barely surviving. Familiar. So familiar. When they finished, Amara slid a business card across the table. Call this number. They're hiring. Legal.
Good pay.
They'll help with your visa. I don't understand. You don't have to. Just, Amara smiled. Pay it forward someday. She stood to leave.
Wait.
What's your name? Amara. I'm Teresa. Nice to meet you, Teresa. Welcome to Seoul. Outside, Jae-sung waited by the car. Zoe in the back seat, doing homework. Did you help her? He asked. Yes. Good. He kissed her forehead.
See?
You're still kind. Because you protect that in me.
No.
Because you protect it in yourself. They drove home together, through Seoul's evening traffic, to an apartment filled with love and safety and the ordinary magic of family. At dinner, Zoe asked about her day. I met someone new, Amara said. Are they nice? I think so. She reminded me of someone.
Who?
Amara looked at Jae-sung.
He looked back,
understanding in his eyes. Me, she said. A long time ago, when a stranger helped me because I asked. And they became family?
Zoe asked.
Yes. Like you and Jae-sung Appa? Exactly like that. Zoe nodded, satisfied, returned to her food. Later, after Zoe was asleep, Jae-sung found Amara on the balcony. You're thinking about that night, he said. Always. Regrets?
None.
You? Only that I didn't find you sooner. She leaned against him. We found each other at exactly the right time. When we were both broken? When we were both ready to be fixed. They stood together in the soul night. Two people who'd survived alone and chosen to survive together. She'd given him $20 and mercy. He'd given her safety and love. But more than that, they'd given each other permission to be human again. To choose kindness in a cruel world. To protect what was rare and precious. To remember that even in darkness, even in alleys at 3 a.m., even when survival seemed impossible, mercy could change everything. And sometimes the people we save end up saving us right back. I love you, she whispered. I love you more. Not possible. We'll argue about it forever. Promise. I promise. And in that moment, looking out over the city that had tested them and shaped them and brought them together, they both knew the truth. The debt had been repaid, not with money or protection or power, but with the most valuable currency of all, love freely given, trust hard-earned, and a life built from mercy into something that looked like home. If you stayed till the end, thank you. If this story moved you, like the video, share it with someone who loves stories like this, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.